We on? Is this thing live?
Now we're live.
And we're live. Welcome to the new Mountain Belt headquarters.
Jason's gone. Incognito.
So
I used to have a corgi, and there was this thing, and it was the little corgi in a trench coat with, I don't remember, maybe a little magnifying glass, and it was like incognito. So now it's hard for me to say that word right because I just think about that every time.
Can you guess who I am right now?
No.
Can you guys guess who I am?
Yourself?
Nope. I'm the greatest mule rider that ever lived, old son.
He's wearing glasses because he feels like looks too tired. He's embarrassed.
I'm pretending to be Dale Brisby.
Yeah. We'll go with that.
No. I do look tired though, so don't judge me. But yeah, got some cool looking emojis going. All right, guys, we're here. So usually our Friday live is Feed With Us Friday, where we go hang out with the herd. But if you're a member and you were on our members only live yesterday, you already know this. We have microphone issues, and so we bought some new wireless microphones that we use when we're outside in the wind, and it is super windy here in this part of Idaho today. And anyway, they don't work to do live streams. So when I plug it into my phone, the microphone doesn't work.
The whole story is we had microphones that worked, but then Jason set the camera on the car seat, on the back seat, and then when we were driving home the other day, an antelope dodged out in front of us, and so he slammed the brakes on. We're on a gravel road. There wasn't anyone behind us. And the camera went flying off into the seat in front of it. And our little receiver, everything looked fine, but our receiver wouldn't charge, and it wouldn't turn back on. So we had to order new microphones. So we ordered the same brand, just like the newer version, and they don't hook up to your phone to do a live.
Yeah.
Who would have known? We didn't know. We just figured they would since the old version did. So we actually just bought the old version again.
Yep.
So now we'll have two sets, which actually will kind of be nice, but
it's on the way. It's supposed to be here next Friday. So depending on what time it gets delivered and if we're home and all that, we'll do a normal Feed With Us Friday next Friday.
Yeah.
But for now, we just figured rather than make a post saying, hey, we're skipping our live, we figured we would jump on here and do a little Q&A session if anyone has any questions, and just kind of hang out for a minute, even though we're not out with the horses and mules. I figured it'd be better to just hop on here and say hi. So hope you guys' week is going awesome. We're relying heavily on questions today because, again, I wasn't really planning, but I did plan one question. So we have a poll going, and it is, you're on a backcountry pack trip. What are you taking? And the options are, you can take mules, Mustangs, or draft crosses. So for now, mules are in the lead. So play along in the poll if you want. If you're watching this after the fact, drop a comment what you bring in, and we'll jump into some questions. And I did actually, I'm not super prepared, but I have some questions to fill in the gaps, like mule related questions, because I was feeling muley today.
Nice.
But I see a bunch of red question marks, so we might not even need my questions. We'll just go with the ones in the chat here. So
he'll leave you out a cliffhanger again.
Yeah, again.
My questions are gone.
Oh yeah, that was crazy. That one time we got cut off.
To do that.
Oh, thank you. That feels so much better.
This little bench seat we have is very narrow for two large people. So
it is.
The whole trailer is very small for 6-foot people, actually.
Mm-hmm.
We have bruises on our elbows and things from trying to move around in here.
Yeah. Did you guys watch the short where we did our little mini tour? That got a lot of views.
Yeah.
We're gonna do actually a full, like, home tour, like a full length video, but it was kind of fun to share a short so you guys know what we got going on here. It's actually
set up
really fun. It feels like we're camping a little bit. Okay. Questions from John Smith. Have you ever thought of doing an embryo transfer from a mare to a mule? That is something people do. I don't think we have thought of doing it ourselves. We've talked about it. Excuse me. I'm sorry. It would be actually a great way to get a lot of views because you could title a video, "Our mule had a baby," but it would be kind of deceitful.
Molly's going to heat, and Riata really has some crazy heat cycles, and we're like, what would happen if we just threw her in with like a jack or a stallion? Like maybe she's 1 in 13,000 that can have a baby, but we've never tried it.
No, and we never will. Realistically, we're always curious, but yeah, that's a good question though. That is something that people do, and people have like. There's been news stories in the past of like Mule has miracle baby, and then it turns out they do DNA testing and it was an embryo transplant.
Yeah.
But, so that's something people do. Another question from Mirka2 says, "Oh, I have a very important question in all caps. If you were blindfolded and were on an equine and you can't touch the mane, would you be able to tell if you're on a mule or a horse?" That is a great question and a fun one too.
I don't know. I feel like I would be so motion sick, I would probably not be able to tell anything. It's weird. If you close your eyes on an equine, it's like throws off your equilibrium bad.
Big time.
At least for me.
Yeah, or we have image stabilized binoculars, and if you try to look through those binoculars while you're sitting on your mule or horse, even if they're standing still,
They just take a step or try to like put their head down to graze. It's like whoa,
it throws you off.
not.
But to answer your question, I would say probably if you're tuned in well, I bet you could tell the difference, because a mule has generally a more like vertically sloped shoulder, and it changes the way that they walk a little bit. A lot of people say mules are a little bit more smooth, but it varies based on the animal. But if you're in tune, I think you could tell. For me, I would definitely be able to tell, like, say I switched from Riata to Rooster, I'd be able to tell just because Rooster's so much wider. Like you'd be able to, like my legs would be sticking out to the side more. But yeah, they walk slightly different, but pretty similar. So you'd have to be really in tune. That was a fun question. Thank you. Here's one from Elaine Thomas. When is Honey coming to the lease? We have an update for you guys on that.
Yeah.
We she's not here yet, but like we're getting close, because yesterday we had the posts pounded in at the joints of all those 12-foot panels down there in the Mustang center of the property. And so then we brought over rails to go around the top. So we just need to spike those in, and we need some little like pin receiver things welded onto our shelters, and then we'll be ready. So to answer your question, probably like a weekish, maybe.
Hopefully. We'll see. The guy that's out doing the fence, he's a fabricator, and so he's going to make us some brackets that line up with the panels we have, so we can actually pin the panels straight to those shelters. But he's got to make them still. So he was out last night, found him posting for us, and then today he's out working on the fence. Actually, right now I can hear his skid steer beeping as he's moving the fence around and stuff. So tomorrow, maybe, he thought this weekend he would spend some time in his shop fabricating stuff, because it's supposed to be kind of nasty out. So hopefully he could do that.
And the nice thing is, when we bring Honey, probably that same day, not the same trip, but the same day, we'll bring the other 3 wild girls, and then we'll have everything here. Yep. And so we won't have to drive back and forth. So we're super excited. Yeah, good question, Elaine. That's one that we get asked quite a bit, and it's starting to get pretty close now. We're gaining on it every day, getting a little closer now. Things kind of started moving around here. Like it was like a lot of like talking and lining things out and like kind of hurry up and wait stuff, but now things are kind of clicking off pretty good. So we're excited. Okay. Back up here to the questions. Here's one from 1105 Pitbull. I should not have drank this while we were doing this. It's making me burp. I apologize, you guys. It says, will you be putting footings into the Mustang arenas? No, we won't do footings. There are little holes in the bottom of the feet that are on those panels, and you could spike them down, but I don't think we're even going to need to do that. They're so heavy. They weigh like 135 pounds a piece or something like that. And so it's going to be super solid. They're all pinned together really well, and so they're like impossible to move.
And if you meant like footing as in sand or whatever, we probably won't. We'll see. If it gets dusty or whatever, maybe we'll put some in. But they'll get shavings in their shelters.
That's
She
funny.
might have meant footing.
I doubt she meant footing. My dad and brother are cement finishers, and they pour footings all the time. So I just saw footings on there, and I think you probably just meant put footing in there, like Alyssa's talking about. But I went straight to cement finishing, so I apologize. Yeah, it would be sweet to put some, especially in the bigger
In the
round
big
pen.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool. Oh,
Because we'll probably use that for all kinds of stuff, not just Mustangs, but actually like training others in there too. We'll use that as our round pen
yeah.
until maybe someday we'll build a bigger round pen here, but that one's like around 40 feet, maybe a little bigger. So it's pretty good size.
So I see another question here, but real quick, I want to say Robert Pooler says, to be Dale, I need long hair. And I just shaved my head not that long ago.
Yeah.
So,
and you need aviators, I feel like.
yeah, I know these ones, they don't have quite the same feel as Dale Brisby's. Here's a question that we've got asked quite a bit, actually. And it's kind of a fun one. It's from Colin, and it says, how did you two meet? So we were actually, I was kind of dead set on just like flying solo the rest of my life. I was like, oh, I'm pretty happy. Like, I'll just go hunting and hang out in the mountains and do my own thing. And then I stumbled across Alyssa's Instagram page, actually. And anyway, started, I think, maybe with a comment and then like some messages and then exchanged phone numbers. And we talked on the phone a lot. I was living in Ellensburg, Washington, and Alyssa was living in Montrose, Colorado. So we talked on the phone a ton, hit it off talking about horses and buck brannaman and stuff like that. And long story short, I quit my job working at the jail in Ellensburg, Washington, and moved to Colorado. And the rest is history. So, yeah, the biggest blessing ever. I've said that on here many times, but I thought I was like totally content, and I was living a good life. I was like not real interested in putting a lot of effort into dating or anything like that. And then when I found Alyssa, it just like clicked, and that was only what 8 years ago, probably.
Yeah.
So, yeah, pretty crazy how things changed, and like what a blessing it's been. But yeah, thanks for that question, Colin. That was a fun one. Hey, I like this one from Draco Bear. Says, this is very important, guys, so make sure you're listening. It says, Jason, I didn't think you could get any handsomer. The scruff looks good on you. Thank you. Yeah, I haven't had time for a haircut or a shave these last few days. So actually, right before we got on, I just said I really need a haircut and I need to shave because this is getting out of control. But I'm glad it doesn't look terrible on camera. So, update on our poll. Right now, mules are in the lead. That's what I'm talking about. You're on a backcountry pack trip. 69% of people are taking mules, 17% taking Mustangs, and 15% taking draft cross horses. I like it.
Yep.
We're going to keep that thing rolling for a little while, so get your votes in.
If you haven't already watched it, we went on a pack trip with 10 mules. We ended up riding 50 miles, and that was in Wyoming. So should go back and check that out. That was posted about a year ago.
Oh, that was
a really fun trip.
It was a fun trip, and Alyssa nailed the editing on that. I wish I could put in like the comments or whatever. Maybe I will after this. I'll put in the comments a link to that video because that was a fun one. That was
a really fun
beautiful country. Alyssa spent a lot of time editing it, and it turned out good. So, all right, I'm gonna catch up down to the bottom of the chat here to hit these questions. So, red question marks from 91932net says, what are your thoughts and feelings on pressure and release training versus positive reinforcement? You probably have some input on that. You kind of combine the two styles.
Yeah, depending on what they need.
Mm-hmm.
Our main go-to is pressure and release style training. That's just what most of everything we do is. But with the Mustangs or with really sensitive horses, I found that like positive reinforcement training, whether it's like target training or whatever you want to call it, is a good tool to use in certain cases. Yeah, like Honey, it would be closest to target training. We really need to do an update on her, but I've started doing some stuff with her that's similar to target training. Like she's making the choice to, like in this case, touch me with her muzzle, and then she gets a reward, whether that's a little bit of grain out of her bucket or some scratches that she really likes now. and stuff like that. So even the scratches are a reward to her at this point, which is really cool because just a while ago she didn't even want to be touched at all. So I can use that as a reward. So yeah, we use both. I think it just depends on the situation, but yeah.
Yeah, it's been really fun to watch Alyssa work with Honey. Just thinking back to like how she was even like a month or two ago, to now Alyssa will like reach her hand out, and before Honey would be like, "See ya," even if you moved your hand. But now Honey will kind of think about it for a minute, and then she'll like lean into it and touch, and then she'll be like, "All right, scratch me." Like you can literally see her be like out of her comfort zone, touch, and then like, "All right, scratches, please."
Yeah. But yeah, she's
my
making
gosh.
that choice to like touch my hand, which is pretty cool. So we'll have to do an update on that.
Yep. We'll probably film the update, I bet, here in the next couple days, probably before we even move her down here.
We'll do it before we move her down here. I don't know if it'll be in the next couple days, but we'll see. We have a lot happening in the next couple days.
We already got 20 big square bales delivered today. We might get 20 more this evening dropped off, or maybe tomorrow or Monday.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, big bales, really good grass alfalfa mix. It feels really good to have that in the barn.
Yeah.
So we're pumped about that. But yeah, we've been like schedules have been like we're trying to, like match up with other people's schedules and stuff. So it's been a little bit hectic, but feels good to have some good hay in the barn. And speaking of honey, this is a common question from Zeta. It says, "Are you worried about honey regressing from the move?"
No. Like, I mean, I'm not worried about it. I think she probably will regress slightly just because it's going to be stressful for her to be loaded and then brought over. And it's a new environment and stuff. I'm sure there'll be things she's spooky about, but I'm not worried about it. She'll be fine.
Super valid question though, and something we've thought about and a lot of other people have asked. So thanks for asking. Here's one from Trevor. Fix it or figure it out. Good name. That's like that's what Alyssa does. She's a fixer, figure it out as you go type of lady.
Thank goodness for YouTube.
Yeah. Okay. What is your plan for the late fall/winter? I suspect you will move back to the house to live. Will you keep the equines at the lease? Well, that's where in the figure it out part of your name comes into play. So we are not positive yet. We have the option of moving back. We have the option of moving this potentially into the big shop here on the property and staying in the horse trailer. But whatever we do, we will likely keep at least some of the equines here, and we may have to drive back and forth again for a few months if we can't figure out a good living situation here. But that's not the worst thing in the world. We've been doing it already these last couple of months. So,
or the other option is take all the equines back for the winter too. There's an option to lease a field back home as well. So, yeah, we could move them back there, or we could keep everyone here, or like Jason said, we could drive back and forth. So yeah,
we're gonna figure that one out as we go.
There is a shop we can park this in, and so with like heat tape and insulating around the bottom, and then using maybe like a tow away for the septic, we'd probably be able to.
That's probably like my leading guess right now is that we're going to figure out a way to put the horse trailer in the shop so we don't get buried in snow, and then we'll figure out like a tow away septic deal and figure out some way to have water and stuff like that. Maybe sponge bath all winter, I don't know. But that's my guess is we'll figure out a way to have this in the shop.
There's a laundromat in town with the showers, so worst case we can run down there and take showers.
Yep. Thankfully, Alyssa is very okay with like roughing it. She's like tough country lady. So
when we're paying off debt, I try to convince Jason we need to just go live in a wall tent on BLM. I'm like, we just have to move every 14 days. It'll be fine. It'll be free. We can save a lot of money. He wouldn't want to do it.
That was a little too much. But yeah, good question. Chateau Mojo says, do your critters use the shelters when the weather is bad? Taz loves the shelter. He'll go hang out in the shelter more than anyone else, and a lot of times just when it's like warm out, he'll just go stand in there.
Yeah.
As far as when the weather's been bad, they kind of just stand out there and put their butts towards the wind.
Yeah.
We haven't had obviously any snow or anything, but When it's windy and we get little storms blowing through and stuff, they kind of don't really use it. But
we've watched so we had a shelter when we lived in Swan Valley that was similar. It was a 12 by 12, but we watched Clyde and Riata multiple times. It'd be pouring down rain, and they'd just be out there, hunkered in the rain, and Riata would walk over, poop in the shelter, and then walk back out and hunker in the rain. So, yeah.
It's funny. It is nice to have it in case they do want to use it, but it seems like they kind of like being out in the open for the most part.
Yep.
Oh, that's fun. Elaine asked the same question, how we met and how long ago. So we actually answered that at the start of this video, and no worries that you weren't here yet, obviously. But it was about 8 years ago, and we met via Instagram. So you can get more details if you rewind, probably only like 10 minutes ago or something like that. We were talking about it. But yeah, that's a fun question. Here's one from PG. It says, question, you worked really hard building your outdoor arena / honey home. Is that why you decided to hire out the work and use ready-made supplies, panels, and sheds? Actually, no. We would rather do everything ourselves just because then it's kind of on our own schedule, and plus it's kind of rewarding. But we needed some things that could go with us to our next property. So since we're just leasing this, there will come a day when we find our next property, hopefully forever property, and we're going to be able to bring the shelters because they're on skids and all the panels to that property. So investing the money even in just like the rails and posts that we have honey in right now, it costs quite a bit, and like shelters and stuff, we don't want to leave that behind. So that's why we went with this setup instead. And I actually really like it. It's kind of nice. Like those panels will last forever. Like they're not going to rot off like a wood post or whatever. No. And same with the shelters. They're super heavy duty, big pipe, and you can replace the 2x6s in the siding if they rot in 10 or 15 years, whenever that happens. So we're pretty excited about that investment. And whenever we find our forever property and we're ready to move, we'll just rent a big old gooseneck flatbed trailer, load up our stuff, and make trips, and we'll be set up really quickly on the new property whenever that happens.
Yeah, for the cost of these shelters, pre-made, like by the time we went out and bought all the big wood posts, because that's the one bad thing is we just don't weld. We don't have that skill. We've never learned how to weld, so we don't weld. Unfortunately, I would love to learn anyway, but so to go out and buy all the wood materials to build those shelters, I think we would probably be out close to the same amount of money and then have to spend all the time doing the work. And when you need to edit videos and do other things, you only have so much time. So this way those shelters are getting built in the background while we're still rolling with everything else. And like hiring out the work to pound in those posts, we talked about digging holes, but that guy's already out here building fence, and he's like, I could just throw the pounder on. And I mean, gosh, it took 20 minutes?
Oh, it was crazy. That Montana post pounder is one of the coolest inventions ever. I'd heard of them, but I didn't see them used until last night. And it'll pound in a wooden post in, I mean, if he was just letting her rip and not worrying about being straight,
10 seconds, maybe.
Yeah, tops. Yeah. 5 or 10 seconds. They're pretty cool.
So instead of a half a day of us digging post holes and trying to tamp those holes in, or those posts in the sandy soil, he just comes out and they're in. So
it's awesome.
We're like, yeah.
It's like, I need one of those when I grow up. Real quick, I saw 2 people have become Wrangler, like our membership members. That was one way to say it. So I want to say thank you. One of them was Noel Mann, and the other one is Kim Shaw. So thank you, Noel and Kim. That's awesome. Those memberships are greatly appreciated. And we've been actually doing pretty good doing Thankful Thursday members only lives.
Yeah.
So we're going to try and keep that up. So thank you guys. While I was scrolling up to thank that other membership, I saw a very important comment from Judy Morton. It says, I got to tell you, Jason, Riata is the prettiest equine you guys have. That's what I'm talking about, Judy. Hey, and fun fact, Judy, my first horse that I ever had, I got after college, and her name was Judy. So good name. All right, let's catch up on some questions here. I'm jumping down to the bottom. So if I missed your question, please re-ask it, because I'm going to try and stay on real time with the questions. Let's do. Did y'all get married inside or outdoors? This is from Lady J Ram. It's
We had a huge, giant indoor wedding at the courthouse.
and it's kind of funny. So we actually we got married, man, probably only it was like 6 months after we started dating, maybe.
Yeah,
Somewhere in
around
there. We were both older, obviously. Like I don't remember how old I was, but I was like
Yeah.
32 or something like that, maybe. And so we kind of knew pretty fast that it was like, okay, this is gonna work for good. And so we got married 6 months after starting dating, and people were like, "Is there something that we don't know about? Is there a baby on the way, or what's
We're like,
going on?"
no.
We're like, "Nope, just when you know, you know." And so we were pretty focused on like getting debt paid off, not spending a bunch of money, and like I sold my favorite Toyota Tacoma truck ever. And so anyway, we didn't want to spend a bunch of money. So we got married at the courthouse, and then we had a big family reception outdoors camping in southeastern Oregon.
Yeah.
So actually the same place that Honey is from. It was in the Steens Mountains
Yeah.
of southeastern Oregon.
So yeah, so my family and his family all got together and basically like a big family union. I think it
Yep.
was 2 or 3 days, and we took all the kids fishing. My little brothers at the time. I remember my youngest little brother. I don't even remember how old he was at the time, but he was up at like 5 in the morning, huddled by the fire. It's all out at that point, so he's all cold. He's so excited to go fishing. He was like
He's
the
ready.
first one up. He was ready. He was waiting for everyone else to get up. He was so excited.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really fun.
It was a special memory. It was like maybe 5 or 6 months after we actually got married
Yeah.
that we had the reception, but it was pretty special. I thought it was a
Yep.
good way to do it. And yeah, it was like neither one of us, if it had been important for Alyssa to have a big wedding, I'd been like, heck yeah, like it's a good memory. Like, why not? But both of us were like, let's try and save for a house. And so that's the way we did it.
Yeah.
So
I didn't feel like it was worth spending all the money
yeah.
to have a wedding or buy a dress or, you know.
Yeah.
So,
But that's a fun question. Thanks for asking that. Real quick, Muscles AKL sent $100 from New Zealand. Says small contribution for you guys from New Zealand. So thank you so much. That is crazy. We really appreciate it. The added support that you guys have given us has been such a blessing. Getting this like Mustang training facility, like a legit Mustang training facility set up, is all thanks to you guys. So thank you guys very much. All right, here's a question back up top here from Serene. It says, what is the most important or memorable lesson a horse has ever taught you about yourself? Ooh, that's a good one.
The one is a very small little moment in time, but I remember it very clearly because that was the time that I was like, oh, I should probably change. I don't remember what happened. I was feeding the horses and they were like running around, and one of them maybe pushed into me or something, but I was just angry at everything. This was in high school, and just like I just had some bad things going on in my life in high school, at home and stuff. And so I was just kind of an angry person. And one of them ran by me, and I remember I had a bucket or something in my hand, and I just chucked that thing at that horse like as hard as I could and smacked it. And it was one of my like more sensitive horses, and of course it scared it really bad. And I was just like, that wasn't a good idea. Like, probably shouldn't have done that. And I remember being like, I need to like check on my emotions a little bit more when I'm working with my horses. So ever since then, that's been like something I've really tried to do, is just not get frustrated. And sometimes you still do. The time I get most frustrated with my horses is when I'm trimming their feet and it's super hot out
and your back hurts.
And I don't feel good, and my back hurts, so they won't stand still. I'm like, God, can you just please, why are you being this way right now? So
stinkers.
But yeah, that one sticks with me. It's a very small thing, but it was like at the time I was just like, yeah, I should probably not take this out on my horses.
Yeah. For me, the one that pops in my mind, this might not be like the most important, but the one that's popping in my mind right now is like horses have taught me that there is value in starting something that you're not good at later in life. So I wasn't raised around horses. A lot of you guys know that. I was raised doing just sports and going hunting. And it's like I don't like doing things I'm not good at, or like it's very humbling. So anyways, that being said, working with horses and mules has been one of the most rewarding things I've done in my whole life, even though I started a little bit behind a lot of other people. Like I'll never catch someone who was raised ranching. I might never be able to actually like rope off a horse and stuff like that. And that's okay. It can still be a super rewarding process, even if I'm not like one of the best around at it. So that's the one that popped in my mind. So that was another good question. Man, thank you guys for bringing all these good questions.
And I have another one that just, I don't feel like there was a moment in time that a horse taught me, but just something that I believe in is just like, don't be opposed to looking for different ways or different methods for a horse, because a lot of times you have a cookie cutter way, it just doesn't work for horses. And so, yeah, I think if you have a lot of different methods and are open minded to learning different techniques, um, one way or another, whether it's like more pressure and release or more treat based or whatever, that can really help a lot of horses. Because I don't know, I feel like, especially with like honey, it's like, okay, we're gonna try this method. Nope, that doesn't work. Let's try this. Okay, that's kind of working. It worked for a while. Now that's not working as well. Let's try this. So it's like with her being able to bounce around and try all different things, you finally kind of find something that has like started working for her, and it changes as we go. Like what I'm doing right now would not have worked a month ago, because there would have been no way to give her like a reward without just freaking her out. So yeah, just be open minded and don't be afraid to learn new things, like Jason said.
Yeah.
I think horsemanship, a lot of it is just being open minded to learning, whether it's from other horsemen or the horse itself. So
Yeah. Okay. Real quick, I saw a question up here, but first I'm going to end the poll. So the results of the poll are,
mules.
yeah. So just to reiterate, this is you're on a backcountry pack trip. What are you taking? And our buddy Kevin Ackerman will appreciate this. 66% taking the win by a landslide is mules. Second place, Mustangs at
Made a comeback.
18%. And then 16% said draft cross horses. So thanks for playing along with the poll. That's fun. And mules win for the backcountry. That's awesome. That
Yeah.
would actually, those are tough. Those are three winners, really. I would, if I had to choose, I'd go mules first. Oh, it's
I would
tough to
too.
leave my Macy behind, but Mustangs are kind of mule-like. They're very tough. They're survivors. So I would probably go mule, Mustang, then draft cross. But they're all awesome. That's why I use those three, is because they're all good and we like them.
Yeah.
Okay. So I saw a question up here. Okay. This one's from Garland Holder. It says, I've been hearing on YouTube that there's a ballot referendum in Oregon that seeks to ban all hunting and fishing and even a lot of farming and ranching activities. What are your thoughts on this? Really good question. I know exactly what you're talking about.
We've been following that one for a while.
And our family lives in Oregon. We actually tried to buy a place in Burns, Oregon. It didn't work out, thankfully. We're very thankful to be here in Idaho. But yeah, so our thoughts on that is like it would destroy the economy of Oregon, especially the whole eastern half of the state, because it's all built on farming and ranching, basically. As far as hunting, it's a great way for some people like us to get their meat for the year. Like we almost never buy beef. We just eat elk, deer, pronghorn antelope, and we get it in the mountains. It's organic, it's healthy, it's like uh, healthy pastime, a good way to get meat. Obviously, this is all my opinion. So I think it's kind of crazy because like the the people in Oregon, if this passed, which God forbid it passes, but if it passed, like they would just have to order their meat from other states and pay more to have it trucked in using diesel trucks to haul in meat so that people can sustain themselves. Um, I don't know if you've seen the guy that brought this ballot, and we'll move on quickly. Last thing, the guy that brought this ballot is like, looks like an incredibly unhealthy, scrawny, skinny individual, and he's a vegan, so it's fine if people are vegan. That's admirable. That is a talk about a challenging uh, choice. But a lot of us are probably healthier if we eat meat. and there's going to be a lot of people that still eat meat in Oregon, so they'll just truck it in from other states. So it's a weird deal. I don't want to. We try to keep it very positive on here, but it's discouraging to me to say the least, because we love horses, we love ranching, we love hunting, we love eating a steak, and so that's kind of like our way of life would be damaged by something like that. So I'll kind of leave it at that. I don't want to be too negative. Like, we love animals, you guys who have watched us, like, we love animals probably at least as much as many animal rights activists. Our animals are our family. I've seen questions on here like, if are we going to have kids? We don't plan on having kids. Our horses and mules and dogs and chickens, those are our kids. We love them. So I think this ballot initiative, like, it may be coming from a good place from people who just don't really know what they're doing. Maybe. That's my thoughts on it. Moving on. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, as I like to say.
Yeah. It would be a bummer.
Yeah, it would be pretty wild if that passed. So, when's the next honey video coming out? Soon, hopefully. This is the second live in a row. Surely she didn't ask it last time, but says, how do you both keep your teeth so white? We got asked that last week too.
What we do is we spray tan, and that makes our teeth look more white.
That's an inside joke, by the way.
That's an inside joke.
Surely. Well, we brush a lot and we floss a lot. Also, I've shared my secret tip from back in the day. I had Invisalign retainers, which is a big plastic retainer. And if you use whitening Listerine and then pop those retainers in, and when you go to bed at night, it just like keeps that Listerine on there.
It's like
that
might a white strip on there.
That's probably not like maybe recommended by dentists.
Just make your teeth. It's just hydrogen peroxide. Just make your teeth kind of sensitive.
And see-through, maybe, if you do it long enough.
Yeah.
So, okay, moving on. I threw off my vibe with that organ thing because it makes me kind of like viscerally like upset, and so I'm trying to bring it back. So I apologize. Here's a question for me from Leah. It says, Jason, did you name your mule after Buck's daughter? Good question. We just watched a documentary and loved it. We love that documentary, and we're huge fans of Buck, obviously, and his daughter, Riata, is awesome. But no, we didn't actually name her after Riata. We knew that Buck's daughter was named that when we named Riata, but it's a Riata is just a 4-strand braided like lariat type rope. And I just think they're really cool. I like the vaquero tradition. Yeah. And Riata's kind of Spanish looking, so that's how Riata got her name.
Yeah. That's a rawhide rope that old vaqueros and buckaroos, some of them still use it, but back in the day it was very traditional. Yep.
Here's another good question. Do you have concerns when it comes to the screw worms? I mean, what's interesting is before they had that outbreak, I was just listening to a podcast with Boots O'Neill, who is like an old-time Texas cowboy. I think he's on the 4.6s still. He's like maybe high in his 80s. I may be a little off on that, but more or less old-time Texas cowboy. And he was talking about dealing with the screw worm way back when it used to be an issue when he was a young man. And to eradicate them, it was a whole huge ordeal. So we're keeping our eye on it. I mean, Texas is a long way from Idaho, but even at very least, if it stayed in Texas, we still feel for everyone down there in Texas who has to deal with it. And, people who aren't able to travel and stuff like that. And so hopefully they nip it in the bud and get them taken care of before they really spread and become a big issue like back in the day when Boots O'Neill was a youngster. So, yeah. Katie's Kitchen says you got to spray tan to offset the coffee. Yeah, coffee stains in that. Yeah, that's true. All right, here's another question. Okay, another question. Sorry, this one's from Tom Backus. It says, are you concerned Rooster is going to find his wings and jump the fence?
He's done it before.
He's done it once. He may do it again. The other day when we were riding around, he kind of like feigned at maybe like thinking of jumping it.
Yeah, we had already rode away And it was when we came back, he was like, I don't know.
He was fired up
He was
to
like,
see us.
no, just kidding.
Yeah, psych.
Yeah, we actually might run a hot wire around that fence just because they keep, like, they'll just nibble under the fence, but they're like rubbing their manes off. Rooster is starting to rub his mane off, and so they might get a hot wire around there anyway, and then he wouldn't try it.
Yeah. Here's another question. Sorry, I keep getting distracted by the stuff about outlawing farming, ranching, and hunting. Lady J Ram says, do y'all use metal or leather hobbles? So we actually had a whole ordeal about hobbles because hobbles you put around basically like the ankles of your horse or mule, and it's a good way to restrain your animals in the back country so they don't run off and get lost and die in the mountains. They can also walk around and graze when they're hobbled. So it's a good way, like say you go on an 8-day backcountry pack trip, you can't pack enough hay for them, so you want to let them graze and you don't want them to run away while they're grazing. So you'll hobble their front feet so they can still move, and they can actually move surprisingly fast.
Some of them
and
can
far.
Run with those things on.
But it's a good restraint. And ours, I used when we were in the mountains in Wyoming in that video that Alyssa was talking about. I used nylon ones and Alyssa used leather ones.
Yep.
And yeah, some people thought it was inhumane, and I get that thought. It's not inhumane to use hobbles. They're a great tool, and you want to train your horse and mule how to be okay with them in a controlled environment. You don't want to just go in the mountains and throw on hobbles, but they're a good tool. And we use probably leather would be best, but I had a nylon set of hobbles and they worked well also.
Yeah, and they make ones that have like leather cuffs and then chain in between, and those are better. Like my friend uses those for big draft cross horses because sometimes they can snap the other ones.
Oh wow!
Like just moving around, they get
They'll
old.
Snap the leather?
Yeah, they just when they get old and worn out, then they'll snap them, break them. So anyway, she uses the chain hobbles, and they have a little swivel in between there, so they can't get kinked up or anything like that. But yeah, they're great. And people always ask, like, are you worried about predators coming in and eating your mules while they're hobbled? And no, we don't, because we don't leave them unsupervised when they're hobbled.
Good point.
So
we keep an eye on them.
Yeah, we're in camp. We're keeping an eye on them. You know, if they wander too far, then we'll go unhobble and bring them back, rehobble them near camp, because they always like to wander around. And yeah, it's really safe for the equine. Like we had when we were up there in the backcountry last summer, on that big pack trip we were talking about in Wyoming, someone's horse got loose. We saw it from a distance running down the trail, and there was nothing we could do about it. Like that horse is already gone, and we didn't know where the people were. We didn't know who it belonged to. Then when we got back down to our trailer, I don't know, like 3-4 days later, there was a note on our windshield. Hey, if you see a Palomino horse, call this number. So they still hadn't found it. And that's what that horse is up there somewhere. Winter's going to hit eventually. And if that horse doesn't come down, there's a good chance that horse is going to die up in the mountains. So we don't want that to happen to our mules. You would think they would know how to get back down to the trailers, but they don't always. So,
yep. I see a lot of questions coming in, so I'm going to try and catch up here. I'm skipping down to the bottom. I saw one I wanted to ask. Oh, from Jeff Gregg. It said, when will y'all have a meet and greet so we can come out and visit you guys? We would love to. I don't know when would like the soonest be? Maybe next summer would be like the soonest.
Yeah, we could maybe have an event next summer, depending on, how the owner feels about it or whatever.
Yep. And we would love that. We're really itching to start sharing what you guys have helped us build. And every time we meet people who follow the channel is like super exciting and just gives us like good energy. And so we would love to implement that into our schedule. So, but it's like right now, obviously things are very up in the air and just like very dynamic, and like summer is like halfway gone already. So it would be probably at the soonest next summer, but that's a fun question and one we think about a lot. Okay. Jane Hartwell says, so working with a couple mini donkeys, do all equines do the chew/lick release? Stupidly, I never knew what that meant. That's not stupid at all. Like that's like not super common knowledge, I don't think. So yeah, no worries. But I'm trying to think if I've seen the donkeys do it. I assume so.
Yeah, donkeys do it. So funny story. When I was in high school, I was super, super into Pirelli natural horsemanship. And that was kind of what got me into like this style of horsemanship. And then I found Buck Brannaman and so forth. But anyway, I learned from Pirelli a lot. And if you guys have ever done Pirelli, they have like the 7 games with horses, which just helps break down basically your groundwork. They've just put it into 7 games. So I had a 4-H lamb that didn't make weight. And so I didn't end up selling him. And he was super smart. And so I was like, I'm going to see if I can teach a sheep the 7 games with Pirelli. And that sheep could learn how to like weave in and out of cones at liberty. I could point over, he'd go stand up on a little pedestal. I could like wiggle my finger and that sheep would back up. And that sheep would lick and chew like as a release when he would think of things. Like you could watch him processing like a horse would. And so I don't know if all prey animals do that, but that sheep did. And it was, yeah, I made a little video. I wish I had a little video, whatever, back in the day, like a little camcorder, and filmed it and sent it into Pirelli. And so, yeah.
That's the most Western Oregon thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, 7 games with a sheep. But hey, I was impressed. That sheep was so smart. People think sheep are dumb, but that sheep was smart. I was just a challenge I wanted to try.
The animal whisperer over here. Yeah. That's actually cool. So yeah, good question.
He could do circles and roll his hinds and go the other way. You'd point, he'd go that way. His name was Felix.
Felix the sheep.
Felix the sheep.
Here's a question from Garland Holder. At first I didn't know what they meant, but they meant prank. So it says, do y'all ever prank each other? If so, who's better at it? Who pulls the funniest pranks?
Definitely the funniest.
Alyssa's definitely the funniest, but looks aren't everything. So we so prank each other every now and then. There's been a couple times Alyssa has like startled me and I get ticked. Like if you scare me, I'll be like, that's not funny. Why would you do that? I almost died.
Yeah.
So
he's not much fun to prank, honestly.
But as far as pranking, I feel like you prank me more than I prank you.
I prank him the most, and he also gets the grumpiest about pranking. So
only when he scare me, though.
Yeah.
For the most part. Or if it's something
or
stupid.
Anything else. Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Oh yeah, here's a good point. I think I only read the start of the question. Wouldn't hobble training also teach them to not freak out if they get their little legs tangled up? Yep.
Yes.
That's where I thought you were going with that. And that is actually probably the most valuable part of hobble training for most people. Because if you're not going on a pack trip, then like, why would you do it? Well, if they step through a fence and get tangled up, they don't rip their foot off, like freaking out. So yeah, super good point. I'm glad you said that, Katie's Kitchen. Thank you. Yep. Gil Robertson says, do you have any favorite YouTubers or channels that you watch? Oh gosh, I'm gonna try and think of one out of the box here.
Jason does like watching Dale Brisby.
I do. It's entertaining. Sometimes I like to just be entertained and not be like learning stuff. And I like to check out mentally for a little bit.
Yeah, he's pretty funny.
Plus, actually, Dale Brisby, he has a very successful brand and successful YouTube channel. And so it's kind of fun to watch and just like see what's working and what he does. Obviously, we're not going to pretend to be Dale Brisby aside from looking awesome in my shades right now.
Yeah. Jason's going to grow his hair out into a shoulder length.
Oh, that would look awful with my receding hairline. I would have to wear a hat all the time. Oh, here's a question. Oh, so anyways, you didn't answer. I watch Meat Eater a lot. Meat Eater is my go-to. If I'm like, what do I want to watch? I'll probably go Meat Eater because I just enjoy them. They do a good job putting their hunting videos together.
Mustang wise, Sam Van Fleet, Camille's Mustangs. We like both those a lot. There's a lot of other horse trainers. We do like Ryan Rose and Nate Eicher. We watch them. Ty Evans. Go check out Ty Evans. And I do watch some of Warwick Schiller's stuff, but not as much as the others. And then we watch a lot of Katie Van Slyke lately, actually.
That's another one. Katie Van Slyke has 1 million subscribers, and I was like, who is this and how do they do this?
Mini Cows. So.
Mini Cows is like the secret unlock, maybe.
Yeah. Jason, if you guys don't know at this point, has turned into a very horse crazy girl, and he wants to breed some mules really badly, some flashy mules. So we've actually been watching a lot of Katie Van Slyke stuff Jason included. I come in and he's watching, how to breed mares or have baby foals or whatever. So
it's called market research. Read a
yeah,
book.
he's been all into that.
Yeah. Well, first off, let me push back a little about being a horse crazy girl. I still have to play the role of pumping the brakes, but I'm getting worse at
Do
it.
you though?
Yeah, well, I'm not very well. That's why.
As he sent me today, multiple mares
Oh yeah,
that he thinks we should buy.
I'll show you. I don't necessarily think we should buy them, but I like to think about maybe buying them. I'll show you this one real quick. Oh, let me read a question here. Oh shoot, I need to answer that one. Oh, here you go. You talk about this while I pull up a picture. From Judy Morton. I noticed in one of your videos, Clyde has 3 feet hobbled. The others only 2 feet. Is Clyde a bad boy?
Clyde,
Good question.
When I got Clyde, if you put hobbles on him, he was gone. It was like his response to hobbles was like, I'm gonna go jump off this ditch over here and get tangled up in these aspens way over here. Like, I don't know what his deal was. And so yeah, there's things called 3-way hobbles. So you hobble 2 front feet and then it has a strap that goes back to one of their back feet and it keeps them from like running with hobbles on. And Clyde would leave all the other equines, which at that point, if someone rode away from us, Clyde would freak out. But you put hobbles on him, he's like, bye. I'm gonna go off and get lost over here. And so for a long time, I would 3-way hobble him. He's getting better now. He's like learned to stick around. It's something you kind of have to teach him. And it's like if you don't put your head down and graze, you're going back on the high line. And then you try again. And if they just keep taking off, you just put them back on the high line. And eventually they're gonna be like, you know what, I'm hungry. I'm just gonna graze right here. So Clyde had to have 3 ways for a while because he would just leave. He'd just be gone.
Yep. Yeah, it's like a go button. You strap those things on. And he's like, all right,
It
let's
was
get
the
out of here.
craziest thing. Yeah. One time Jason ran back down into town and I was like, I think it was our first time taking Clyde Riata after getting him. And so they were very green. They had never done this before. And so Jason goes back down into town and I'm like, they're buddies. Riata was still terrified of people. You could hobble her, but it took a long time. So I'm like, I'm just gonna let our mules graze. That'll be great for him. So I hobble Clyde, and I think I still had a hold of Clyde, and I'm like hobbling Riata, and so I take their halters off, and they both just go different directions. One is going Mach 10 that way, one is going Mach 10 that way. So I'm chasing these hobbled mules, trying to get them back because they're splitting up and they're like leaving camp. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll wait till Jason's back. We can babysit these guys. So I just kept them on their lead lines. Still hobbled. I was like, we're going to learn how to stay here, but I'm going to hold on to you guys. So anyway, it is impressive how fast they can move in hobbles.
It is. Okay, so real quick, there was a question I wanted to get to. James Brown said, do you have a P.O. box? So this is not just to answer your question, James, but some people who have emailed. We're having P.O. box issues right now. We had some stuff that was returned to sender, which we were really disappointed about. And with like leasing this new property and maybe, moving part-time, blah, 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 I haven't figured it out yet. So we will have a P.O. box up and running and going good. I'm just not sure exactly when yet. Probably soon. But so right now, no, we don't have a functioning P.O. box.
We have one. We just are too afraid for you guys to send anything there because some stuff got returned to the senders. And it was addressed correctly. So we don't know why that's happening.
Yeah. So we'll get that sorted out and be back up and running on that.
Yeah.
Here's a question from Soul Songs. Oh, real quick, before I get to this question from Soul Songs. We have a new poll up and going.
Oh, nice.
So you get to pick one, but only one. You get a baby Appy mule or a baby Appy horse.
Oh.
And so far, baby Appy mule is winning with 73% of the votes.
That's my pick.
That would be my pick.
But you got to have an Appy horse to have an Appy mule.
Yep. That's the number one, like, most important thing about horses is you need one to make a mule. All right. Let's hit a couple more questions. And then do you need to check your phone to make sure Hay's not on the way?
No, it's on loud.
It's right here.
I can check it. It's not.
Okay, we'll hit a couple more questions. Thank you, guys. I was down and out before this live. I was like, I need a nap and to check out for a while. And now I feel energized. Even though I still look really tired, I feel better. So thank you guys. Crud. There was a question. Remember, I said I'm going to answer this question, but first the poll, and then I lost the question.
Shoot.
Shucks.
Oh, is it up there?
No, we're already down here. Shoot, sorry, whoever. I don't even remember who I said either. I'm so sorry. That question must not be for us because it says what happened to Felix, and I don't
that's my
know
sheep.
Felix. Oh, Felix the sheep. Yeah, what
I
happened to Felix?
I don't remember what happened to Felix.
Shows how much I pay attention. That's embarrassing.
I had him when I moved out, and I had him for a long time. And I can't remember what happened to Felix, like why he passed away. He eventually passed away, but I don't remember how old he was. He was getting up there, and I don't remember. I think I might have just found him, passed away.
No, man.
Yeah.
I found the question.
But he lived to be an old sheep.
I found the question.
He was always real friendly.
From Soul Songs. Did Alyssa get her winner's belt buckle yet? No, we need to do that. I need to look up. I need to look up like Google cheapest award belt buckles so that we can actually get her one. Maybe, we'll figure it out. Maybe for her birthday, I'll get her one.
Draw me on a paper plate.
Just say I'm better than my husband at training Mustangs. Here's a question from Alexandria Andrews. Says, sorry if you already answered this, just tuning in. Thanks for being here, Alexandria. And no worries, just tuning in. We're impressed that anyone even hops on here and hangs out with us ever. So,
especially when we're tired. Sorry.
It says, are all the Mustang girls up on the lease property? They're not yet. They're still at our other property. So we have the 4 Mustang girls on Mountain Built North, and we have all the saddle stock down here on Mountain Built South. And we'll probably get the Mustangs here in, my guess is they'll be here in 1 week or less. That's my guess. But we're getting close. Hoping. Yep. Okay. Oh, there's the P.O. box. Okay, now I'm catching back up, guys. First off, hey, Debbiekins says, I just got my stickers and love them. Thank you, guys. Awesome. Yeah. I'm glad you got them this time. I don't know what happened the first time. Actually, we kind of do know what happened because you kind of told me what happened, Debbie. So I'm glad you got this round 2. Yeah. Awesome. I'm glad you like them too. So that's fun. Patios Born says, hats for windy outdoors. Why inside? Well, I'm surprised you're not asking more so about the sunglasses inside. I feel like that's even weirder. But here, I'll show you.
Because you have hat hair if you wear a hat all day. Well, we were out.
That's why
all day.
That's why hat's inside. There's 532 people watching this, Patty, and now they all had to go through this because you asked why I was wearing a hat indoors, Patty.
Hat hair is a real thing. Once you put your hat on and wear it all day, you just gotta keep it on. It's just the rule.
Just kidding, Patty. All questions are welcome here, and I'm just giving you a hard time. So maybe it's Patios Born 202, but yeah. I wear a hat pretty much all the time these days, and it's mostly because I have a receding hairline, so I look better with a hat on. Also, I don't know. It's just kind of comfortable.
I wear a hat because if I don't, I go like this all day, and then I get this crazy wrinkle right here.
Yeah. The scowl wrinkle. It scares off people. People approach me, and they're like, hey, we watch your channel. We love it, but everyone's too afraid to approach Alyssa.
Yeah, I just look mean half the time.
It's like, oh gosh, don't mess with her. She's nice on the internet, but at the gas station, she might punch you.
I'm not gonna get Botox. So I told Jason I need Botox, so I just can't look mean all the time. I can't even. I'll just be like this.
It'll go good with your spray tan.
Maybe is there something way they could just like just a little permanent smile? Because I'm always just like. I'm like, I don't know why no one wants to be my friend. And then I'm like, oh, is that what my face looks like? Jeez.
Oh, along the same line, Sleepy Frog says, Jason, your future's so bright, you got to wear shades. Yeah, that's part of it. But also, I just look so tired, and I'm tired of looking at myself.
I don't look that bad.
I look tired.
You just look normal.
And now I look cooler, I feel like. Yeah. I look normal because I'm always tired. It's true. Okay, all right. Hold on. Let's see. I got to catch up here. First off.
Is the Apria Mustang? That would be
good
awesome.
Question. Yeah, for our poll question update, you get to pick one, Baby Appy Horse or Baby Appy Mule. the Mule is winning at 67%. But yeah, people brought up a good point. Is the Appy a Mustang? That would change things maybe a little bit. Katie's Kitchen, great question. I'm going no. These are domestics. These are domestics in our poll. I'll take these off because people are judging me. Let's see. Happy as a spotted horse, Appaloosa. That's true. Appaloosa. Crud, shucks, shoot. We say none of that here. Anna Hall says, yeah, I get made fun of a lot for my substitute curse words. Anna. Yeah, I got in a really bad habit in grad school. I had an instructor that said fruitin' A, like people used to say frickin' A all the time. And he would say fruitin' A. I have no idea why, but I made fun of him for it. And he said it so much that it got stuck in my head. And I said it in a group of people that were unrelated to that class one time. I was so embarrassed because, like, who says fruitin' A? Apparently I do sometimes. Not anymore, though.
My favorite was Jason worked for this guy that had a bad cussing issue, and so his wife made him say Russell Frussel instead, and so that's always fun to say now. We're like, Russell Frussel.
Yeah. Shout out my old foreman Dave Horn from Black Hills Wild Horse Sanctuary. Russell Frussel. I can picture him saying it when we're building fence a lot. I feel like, Russell Frussel. But then it makes you laugh, so it cheers you up when you're frustrated. I want to see what Larry said, because I see Coy said, after 33 years of marriage, Larry has finally come over to the dark side.
Oh.
So here, let me ask you a question, Alyssa, then I'm going to find what Larry said. From Alexandria Andrews says, I just recently learned that giant donkeys exist. Would you get a big jack to keep if you were trying to breed bigger, flashy mules? I confess I know very little about donkeys. Great question. Good question. I'm going to look for Larry's.
We probably wouldn't buy a jack, but there's some really nice mammoth jacks that we would AI mares too. So artificially inseminate mares too. So there's vets. Anyway, take the mare in, have her bred through that system, and then we don't have to own a jack. And we also don't have to haul to the jack. So that's probably what we will do with mares in the future.
I was trying to find what Larry said. I couldn't find it.
Shoot.
Coy said, I think Dale's hairline is receding too, so I think you're probably right. Coy, yeah, old Dale Brisby. Starting to get old like the rest of us. All right, we need to get off the internet here in just a little bit, but D says, has Honey ever chewed and yawned while you were working with her? That's a good question.
A ton.
Yeah.
Yeah. She lets down pretty fast.
You wouldn't think so because she is so fearful. But yeah. Especially
that's what's weird about her. She doesn't really freeze up. She's still blinking softly, and she's still paying attention. She really doesn't just go into this total freeze state, and she's actually pretty quick to come back down, which is interesting.
Real quick here, this is a good point. A PSA, public service announcement, says, as a sailor, I wore caps all the time. Be careful as they don't protect your cheeks from the sun. And I will second that and say they don't protect your ears from the sun. Growing up playing baseball and stuff, I have a weird little thing on this ear. It's like a little scabby thing that I really need to get checked. And years out in the sun wearing a ball cap, it keeps the sun out of your eyes and a little bit off your nose for the most part. But like you said, not your cheeks and not your ears. Okay. This one's from Kristen McKenzie. What is up with you guys? You guys are super excited about something. Your goofy energy tonight means something good happened. Do we get another announcement? Well, it's mostly from a lack of sleep, but the good news. Yeah, sometimes when we're tired, we do get more goofy, so I do apologize.
Before you just crash.
Yeah, it's like
you just get delirious.
Have you ever seen a toddler just tearing around, giggling and stuff, and then next thing you know, they're crying and then they're falling asleep?
Yeah.
That's why we need to get off here soon.
Because we're going to be crying soon.
And sleeping. But we are excited, though, in all seriousness, Kristen. We are excited because we got a huge load of hay today. Our Mustang training facilities are really taking shape. the guy that's doing dirt work for the arena, he's here on property, not working on the arena yet, but he's here and working, so that's a step in the right direction. So it just feels like a lot of things are like kind of coming together. So
Yeah.
we are
And he's-
excited.
Hopefully, it's supposed to be like flattening out the spot completely for the arena, maybe this weekend if we don't get too much rain. But they hauled in a bunch of like road base for the little road that goes down to the Mustang pen from up top, so they're going to be putting in a little road down there. So yeah, things are starting to chip away.
Yeah.
The bucking rail is getting worked on right now as we speak.
Yeah, one of the biggest like pros of leasing this property is the 100-acre pasture, and then there's a couple of like, they're actually 20-ish acre creek pastures. I said 30 on an earlier video, but I was wrong. They're like 20 a piece though. So like all those pastures are going to be a huge blessing, but we can't use any of them yet. And so
Yeah.
that's another thing. When that pasture, the 100-acre pasture is done, that's tons of grass that is like kind of free food. We pay for a little bit for the lease here, but it's like free food and tons of space for them and stuff like that. So anyways, so lots of exciting stuff coming. Real quick, I wanted to say Draco Bear says giant jack. Yeah, so like a mammoth jack and a draft mare would produce an awesome mule. And yeah, they're really popular, especially for like working fields and stuff like that. Big old draft mules, and they're cool for the most part. They're gentle and just chill and sweet. So yeah, so anyways, yeah, really cool animal. But I think let's wrap it up. We appreciate you guys. Someone said we're being silly, so we better get off here before we do something embarrassing. So yeah, we appreciate you guys. We have an exciting video coming out tomorrow. So for those that don't know, there's a couple bucket list item horses that I really want, speaking of being a horse crazy girl. And we got to go look at one, and the video comes out tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Hit like if you enjoy these lives. We appreciate you guys hanging out. Thanks to all the people who gave super thanks and became members. That is a huge blessing to us. So
we'll be back to our regular feed with us Fridays once we get our mics.
Yep.
So
yep. You guys have a great weekend. We'll see you on the next one.